NVIDIA can touch 200. NVIDIA can touch 175. We heard these kind of price targets recently from multiple sources. In this video, we will evaluate how high NVIDIA may go before next earnings. This is Iqbal with NVIDIA price projection video. If you take a look in last 9 months or year to date, NVIDIA is up about 179%. Is this too much? In my opinion, no. NVIDIA still have more potential to go further up. Let's take a further look at NVIDIA quarterly price change analysis. So in this quarter, after the previous earnings, NVIDIA is up about 15.18% based on the cumulative percentage change. Is this too much or is this enough? In my opinion, no. Historical data suggests NVIDIA can go further up. Let's take a look what happened in the last quarter. You see in the last quarter, NVIDIA went up about 32% in the single quarter. And one quarter prior, NVIDIA went up about 38% in the single quarter. So in this quarter, NVIDIA is up about only 15.18%. So this quarterly percentage change analysis suggests that NVIDIA has more room to go further up, and we still have about 5 weeks to go before the next earnings. Now let's evaluate using forward P analysis. At this point, the forward P for NVIDIA is at 43.77. Is this good? Yes, it is good, but it still has more room to go further up because historically speaking, in each quarter, at least in the last 3 quarters, NVIDIA touched about forward P of 50. For example, in the last quarter, you see NVIDIA touched the forward P of 48.84 in just one single week, but in other weeks, prior to this, I still remember NVIDIA was above forward P of 50. Not for too long, but at least in 1 week or two in each quarter in last 3 quarters. So now the question is how much NVIDIA price is equivalent to the forward P of 50. I did the calculation, let me show you. So NVIDIA forward P of 50 corresponds to NVIDIA stock price of 153.99. So based on the forward P analysis, NVIDIA might touch 153 level before the next earnings. Now let's use the third method, that is EPS and the forward P combo, to make the price projection for NVIDIA for this quarter. In the second table, I'm talking about this one, I put together the earning projections for next 4 quarters for NVIDIA. So in the next 4 quarters, from this quarter, Q3 2024 versus Q2 2025, the price projections growth is about 29.7%, and that's very good. So in terms of the earnings projection, NVIDIA is supposed to do a good job. So I don't see any problem there. Unless NVIDIA misses the earnings expectation, and that's a different story. But we assume that NVIDIA should be able to meet or exceed the earnings projection. Now, based on the EPS and the forward P, we also call it the forward P ratio. I did this analysis. I put together the adjusted closing price for NVIDIA and the EPS forward and the EPS trailing 12 months for last 4 weeks. At this point, the forward P ratio, as you saw, is 43.21, and the P ratio with respect to trailing 12 months is about 61. Another table I have, and that captures the trailing P and the forward P for last 13 quarters, and also the current numbers, 61 that is trailing P, and the 43 forward P. Another table I have that captures the EPS actuals and the EPS projection for last 13 quarters. And another table I have, and that is this one, I captured the earnings surprise percentages for last 13 quarters. I'm going to use this data in my price projection analysis for NVIDIA. So using the first table, I calculated the median, mean, average, and the maximum forward P for NVIDIA in last 6 quarters, with the exception of this one. So I considered this one as an outlier. Similarly, I calculated the mean, average, max, and the median price percentages for NVIDIA for last 6 quarters and excluded any outliers. I'm keeping the minimum value as 0 because in this case I assume that NVIDIA should be able to just meet the expectation. So using these data, I calculated the price projections for NVIDIA for this quarter. Minimum value is 105, average 116, and the max 151. NVIDIA already achieved the minimum value sometime last month. So at this point, I do not see NVIDIA is going to this level anytime soon unless some unexpected events happen that we cannot predict at this point. So let me go over with you how I made this calculation. In the minimum value calculation, I use the first factor, that is H4, and that is EPS forward. And the second factor in this formula is R30, and that is the minimum value of the forward P, and that's this one. I'm using the median value instead of minimum because in my assessment, median value makes more sense versus the minimum value. And the third factor, I'm using R37, that is the minimum value of the earnings surprise. In this case, that is 0. So that gives me the minimum value of 105. In the average price projection, I'm using the same formula. That is the first factor H4, the EPS forward, T30, that is the average value of the forward P, and that's this one. And the third factor is S37, and that is the average value of the earnings surprise for last 6 quarters. So that gives me the average value of 116, and the maximum value using the same formula H4, that is EPS forward. Second factor U30, that's the maximum value of the forward PE for last 6 quarters. And the third one is T37, that's a maximum value of the earnings surprise percentage for last 6 quarters. And that gives me the max value of 151.7. And this is valid until the next earnings. So based on EPS and the forward P or the P ratio combo, I get the maximum value for this quarter, 151. And in the previous method, I showed you I got the maximum value for NVIDIA stock price, that was 153, and that was based on the forward P only. So using both methods, you see that NVIDIA at least should touch 150 before the next earnings. These projections and assessment are based on my understanding. You might disagree to my numbers. That's perfectly fine, but you can write in the comment section if you agree or disagree. And why is that? So we can engage in a meaningful conversation in the chat. And also, I uploaded this file onto my Patreon account. So if you are an exclusive member, you can access this file from there. I hope you liked the video. Thank you so much for watching this video. Talk to you more in the next video. Take care.